Apologies, Walker, but this one has much to do. You will come back again later, yes?
Cloudrest destroyed by shadows. Could it be true? You have the look of a traveler. Tell me, have you heard news of Cloudrest, the city within the mountains of Etonir? My mother is there, and I feel she may be in danger. Bad dreams? A great darkness devouring Cloudrest as it filled the streets. My mother's last letter spoke of the Welkanars capturing the sea-slowed Zamaj just a few days ago. If there's anything powerful enough to destroy a city, it's a Slode. Yes, I'm afraid I do. Could you travel to Cloudrest and seek out my mother, Bellerin? I must warn you, though. Should my dreams be true, such a journey may come at great risk. You'll want to gather many allies by your side before heading off. I know a few merchants headed to the city. I'm sure they'd be amenable if you asked for a ride in their cart. And remember, gather as many allies as you can before heading out. If Zamaja has attacked Cloudrest, you'll need the aid. If Cloudrest is known for anything, it's the Welkanars. The fact that they were able to capture something as dangerous as a sea slode tells you of their might in battle. Especially one as powerful as Zamaja. They're battle mages, all four of them. Some of the greatest warriors on the Isle. Together they watch over all of Somerset. Many call them Griffin Knights, due to their chosen steeds. It's truly a sight seeing them soar above the clouds. I only know what my mother's letter described. Zamaja is known for her shadow magic. She can shape darkness to do her bidding. Way I hear it, the Welkanars had to slay 100 shadow creatures before they were able to capture her. My advice? Find more warriors. If Zamaja has managed to escape, she won't be easy to battle. Even alone, Slodes are notoriously strong magic users. The more seasoned warriors you can join up with, the better chances you have of defeating her.
Don't merely be a visitor to Somerset.
To be free of all responsibility.
But terrifying. The Divine Prosecution has been following the Sagacians for quite some time. A group of researchers who are truly no better than bandits. We've discovered that they are currently holed up in the ruins of Torheim Card. They've stolen many valuable relics, and we need you to recover them. We also wish to keep tabs on their movements. I suspect most of the Sagacians have written plans on their person. Collect those plans using any means necessary. The Divine Prosecution doesn't pay until the contract is complete, so get back to it. A group of scholars who found the laws of Somerset to hold too many limitations. They've abandoned all scruples, researching dangers that are best left forgotten or destroyed. They'll use any means to obtain their dark ends. Thievery is quite common. We've gotten a flood of reports in the last year alone of missing relics, all tied to this one organization. They've also begun bribing government officials, though we've no leads yet on who. They're most likely conducting experiments of some kind. Honestly, this isn't the first time a dangerous party has taken over Torheim Card. I've often found that secluded ruins attract that sort of attention.
He stopped the Thracian plague.
As I have said, the Proxy Queen is unable to hold an audience with petitioners at this time. There are other affairs that require her attention.
And when will your ever-busy Proxy Queen see us?
Does she even intend on receiving our petitions? Or does she cast us aside like the rest of you High Elves?
Many affairs compete for the Proxy Queen's attention. The complaints of newcomers do not rank as a matter of priority, simply put.
How dare you dismiss me? As though I was some commoner. I refuse to leave this spot until my petition is heard.
The
And
same
me
goes
as
for me.
well.
How can Rigert negotiate peace if stupid High Elves won't talk to him? Most sincere salutations, newfound friend. I am Rigert the Brash, Ambassador at Large for the exceedingly excellent Nord Cultural Exchange. I fear my mission to this beautiful island of snooty elves has ended before it has even begun. The Glorious Pact sent Rigert to bargain with Queen Irene, to use my considerable charms to woo High Elves to talk of peace and an end to the Three Banners War. I even brought gifts to bestow upon the pretty queen. But Rigert has failed. Again. These tall, skinny elves, they have so many rules. Did you know Queen Irene isn't even on Somerset? And to get an audience with her proxy queen requires some sort of proper introduction. Vindilwyn won't let me set foot in the palace without one. You would help Rigert? That makes my heart dance like young ones at a Mara's Day ball. Speak to Courtier Vindilwyn and find out how we get one of these proper High Elf introductions. Remember, I brought gifts. That's sure to open a few doors. Rigert is the bestest ambassador in all of Skyrim. Sometimes I think the Nord Cultural Exchange was created just to take advantage of my talents and inaptitudes. I think that was the word the Thane used. Anyway, Rigert has come to end the war. The Three Banners War. Terrible business. I was drinking at the Skald King's court when I mentioned how silly it was to fight over an empty throne. Next morning, they put me on a boat and sent me here. Rigert always gets the most important missions. If we can get an audience with her, or her proxy queen, I will certainly try. An ongoing war with no end in sight can't be good for either side. Plus, Rigert can be very persuasive, especially when I bring gifts. Rigert has no idea. Vindilwyn kept talking about laws and rules and customs, said a simple Nord like me would never understand. But with you to help navigate these cultural conundrums, Rigert will be having tea with the proxy queen in no time. Oh, such treasures I brought. Gifts that any Nord would kill for, and many have. I brought wonderments from the vaults of Windhelm, a depressing stuffed goat, Dibella's bosom knight favor, and essence of mammoth. An excellent treasure. This was King Yoren's prized pet Badir, known for her bravery. She once faced down a horde of rampaging orcs. The Skald King stuffed and mounted her for display, but found it too depressing to keep on the mantle. Something every virile man and woman can appreciate. This bust of Dibella, god of beauty and erotic instruction, holds a place of honor in many Nord bedchambers. Its presence makes nightly activities more invigorating. Irene will love it. Oh, this one is popular with maidens and matrons who can afford it. The alchemists of Windhelm crafted this expensive fragrance for use on special occasions. Who wouldn't want to smell like wet mammoth on a warm spring day, eh? Rigert is the bestest ambassador in all of Skyrim. Sometimes I think the Nord Cultural Exchange was created just to take advantage of my talents and inaptitudes. I think that was the word the Thane used. Anyway, what's to tell? Vindilwyn's a self-important royal lackey who thinks her armpits smell like fresh linen. If the snooty High Elves have ministers of culture, then Vindilwyn is definitely their king. Go talk to her and see for yourself.
The news from the Queen's Eye. Could it really be true?
I have no time to deal with whatever issue concerns you, newcomer. I recently received word that all of Somerset faces an imminent threat from a source we believed had disappeared long ago. Oh, I see. You must be the newcomer the Queen's cat was going on and on about. If this threat is real, and you actually killed one of the Sea Slode, then I suppose I could use your help. Will you lend your talents to the defense of our island? I sent a group of adventurers and a squad of Marines to investigate the threat. They reported in, said they were exploring a promising lead. That was the last I heard. Kynar, Grog, and Maria seem capable enough, but I'm concerned for their safety. Find Kynar and his companions in the caves of Conwaston. That's where the last report said they were going. I even provided a squad of Marines to assist them, so something significant must have happened for them to have gone completely silent. Just what was in the report you brought back. The Sea Slode Cabal has seeded the island with enchanted abyssal pearls. The magic in the pearls somehow opens the geysers and calls forth the creatures. They plan to use the geysers to sink Somerset. What I wouldn't give to have enough soldiers for such a mission. Unfortunately, most of the Dominion military currently defends the Queen's honor in Cyrodiil. I'm left with a small defense force and whatever help I can scrounge up. You, for example.
Did I see you with that Nord? You really need to reconsider the company you keep. An audience with the Proxy Queen for a Nord? Well, an introduction requires certain documents. A recommendation from the appropriate Sapiarch, for example, as well as an audit from the Divine Prosecution. And perhaps a small favor for me. A crude yet accurate analogy. Get Sapiarch Tandeman to provide a recommendation, and Justiciar Rolamdel to give Rigott a legal writ validating his credentials. Then, as a favor to me, acquire a pair of tickets to Thespian Enigma's next performance. More. You newcomers just seem to want and want and want. Oh, very well. Which of these very necessary items would you like to ask about? Tandenman is the Sapiarch of Foreign Observations. He's Somerset's leading expert on the cultures that aren't Altmer. He's excited about the Queen's decree, as he finally gets to meet outsiders face to face. You can find him here in Alinor. You'll have to ask the Sapiarch. Perform a favor of some sort, I suppose. Nothing too outrageous. Probably he'll want some help interviewing the mass of newcomers flocking to our shores. Now, if there's nothing else... Rolamdel serves as an officer of the Divine Prosecution, enforcing both secular and religious law. He'll provide a legal writ that confirms Rigott's diplomatic credentials. For a small favor, of course. You can find him in Lilandril. Favors are the currency of power here in Somerset. But don't concern yourself too much about it. Rolamdel will probably just want help with some minor legal matter or another. Nothing that you and the Nord won't be able to handle. beautiful and mysterious enigma. I am a true admirer of her work. The Thespian might be the House of Revelry's best. I certainly think so. And so do a lot of others, based on the scarcity of tickets. I expect you can find her in Relenthiel. That's for you to solve. If Rigget actually wants to see the Proxy Queen, that is. Dealing with Enigma shouldn't be much different from dealing with the others. She is a high elf, after all. Favors go a long way, even at the house.
We grow accustomed to the influx of visitors to our blessed isle, though your increasing numbers remain a source of concern to our nobles. We, however, find the many non-Altmer faces to be interesting. What business brings you to the palace? The Psijic Order? We have not heard a word from that august body in a star's age, and then word arrives that we should expect a visitor. Why would we grant access to the Sapiarch's private compound? Speak true if you want our aid in this matter. This involves the business that Razandar was telling us about. The Queen's cat claimed he had eyes in the Psijic Order, but we assumed that was more of his braggadocio. Very well. We'll send word to Lilandril that you may cross to the college. The newcomer wants us to blather on about the many wonders of the Blessed Isle? Why, by all means. Let us sing the praises of the Sapiarchs, reveal a recipe for an Altmer delicacy, and select the best House of Revelry's performance for you to attend. Indeed. Perhaps you aren't as dull as we first presumed. My queen has asked that we welcome you, so we shall tell you that the Sapiarchs are our teachers. The compound in Lilandril serves as the seat of their prestigious college. And we shall alert the Portal Master to accommodate you. Once inside, seek out Lana Teal, Sapiarch of Arcanology. She leads the college and should hear the Right Master's warning. There, we have done our deed for the day.
I hope you aren't here about anything important. My schedule is completely full. I couldn't possibly squeeze you in before the mid-year Mud Crab Festival. A recommendation? I'll have you know that I don't just throw those together in a slapdash fashion. A recommendation must be researched and carefully considered. I can't be too cautious when it comes to endorsing new arrivals. Vindilween? Why didn't you say so? If you can acquire items of cultural significance from the newcomers, say something from a Khajiit, a Breton, and an Argonian, I might be persuaded to write a recommendation for Ambassador Rigert. As a matter of fact, I do. The Khajiit's name is Urjara. Exotic, don't you think? Henri Ondare is the Breton, and the Argonian calls herself Grayscale. Bring me something that belongs to them and reflects their cultures, and then we can talk.
Listen round, I've a warning to sound about an overgrown.
Buy me another bucket full.
Star-eyed bride of Avalon, lost in storm and spray.
Not now, friend. I haven't been able to secure work in this city, and I fear instead of opportunity, this land of high elves holds nothing but disappointment for newcomers such as me. How are you now? Well, I'm trying to find a job. Looks like we're both going to be disappointed. On the other hand, I do have this turtle clasp, crafted in the Breton style. I might be persuaded to give it to you, for the right price. Any chance I could... Not on your life, you cheap bastard! I suggest you walk away. Go find another...
Does this one regret leaving elsewhere and making the journey to Somerset? No, for Joan and Jode watch over me and bless me with health and good fortune. How can Ordra help you, friend? This one brought a few heirlooms with her, whatever could be stuffed in my carry sack. Ordra has a Khajiit navigation stone, for example. Lets me find my way even in this strange land. I couldn't part with it, though. It has sentimental value. The Sapiarch! Why didn't you say it was for the Sapiarch? Of course, Ojura will let you have this beautiful Khajiit item of cultural significance, as long as it's for the Sapiarch. Please let him know that this one was happy to comply.
I'm not sure what I expected when I decided to journey to Somerset, but it sure wasn't this. No rest for the weary, and always more work to do. Forgive my lack of manners. Is there something you need?
Really? Well, I didn't bring much with me, just my recipes. In fact, I just made a bowl of Ojisaka for Races the Moons. He hasn't tasted it since he left Murkmire. Mentioned he had a craving. I was about to take it to him in that sack. Give you Races Ojisaka? I don't think so. It's extremely difficult and time-consuming to make, and I promised that bowl to my friend. You'll just have to find some other Argonian to steal from. I'm not sure what I expected when I decided to journey. Really? Well, I didn't bring much with me. Just threats now? This place gets worse as the days go by. Very well, take it. I just hope I prepared it correctly. I'd hate to hear you died eating my Ojisaka.
Courtier Vindilwyn was kind enough to tell me who she sent you to perform favors for. I've been sitting here drinking and having a most pleasant conversation with Sapiarch Tandemin. Were you able to acquire the items of cultural significance he requested? You did? That is most excellent, my good friend. But Rigert has an even better idea. We should also give the Sapiarch one of my gifts. Nothing says culture like a Nord keepsake. But which one do you think he would like best? While the stuffed goat has sentimental value, it doesn't quite strike me as the perfect Nord cultural gift for the Sapiarch. Perhaps you can make another suggestion, my friend. Interesting. The Night Favor depicts a beloved Nord god. It is solid and will last forever. And it might help the Sapiarch if he ever finds a sweet onion. And by sweet onion, Rigert means a lover. A perfect choice. Friend Sapiarch, here are the cultural items you asked for, along with a gift from Rigert. A Nord Night Favor.
That's everything I wanted, plus an arousing example of Nord erotica. Thank you. Here is the official letter of recommendation you requested.
What is it?
Milk drinker! Milk drinker! Is that really a Nord insult? How benign. And what do you want? Can't you see I'm trying to rehearse? I always have trouble with the accents of the lesser races. You need tickets, do you? Well, so does the Sapiarch of Shimmerine, the Navy's High Battle Reeve, and the Proxy Queen of Alinor. Do you know what I need? I need to figure out how to play Hildegrom, Battle Maiden of Skyrim, before the curtain rises. Ambassador Rigert? I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Well, if he can help me find Hildegrom's voice and mannerisms, I'll happily give you 2 tickets to my next performance.
Courtier Vendilwyn told me who she sent you to talk to, and Rigert always wanted to meet a famous high elf thespian, Lady Enigma. Greetings and salutations from the Nord Cultural Exchange. Hildegrom? She's my favorite hero! I'm sure that one of my Nord gifts will inspire Enigma and help her find the voice of the Battle Maiden. But which one do you think will make her feel like a proper Nord? Essence of Mammoth, of course! Not only will it make Enigma smell like a proper Nord battle maiden, it will also make her irresistible to bull mammoths, snow bears, and half-drunk Nords. It's the perfect choice! Rigert has just the thing to make Enigma feel like a Nord. Essence of Mammoth.
What a powerful odor! It reminds me of mammoths charging across fields of ice and snow.
You smell like a proper Nord battle maiden now.
The stench! It makes me woozy, but also fills me with Nord bravado. How inspiring! Milk drinker! That's it! That's the voice! You've earned these tickets, Ambassador Rigert. Healer!
That is it! I'm done with this mad forest. My, you look like you could use gold. Care to take a job of mine? Quite simple, really. An academic needs an escort through this forest. She wished to meet at a camp. Given the manner of the riffraff one sees on the road these days, I cut through the forest. It's a maze in there. I was hired to defend a respectable research expedition, not to tramp through the woods in full armor. Daewon should have known better. An Ultima fights for glory, not coin. Crawling through the muck just to find some insignificant little temple? Simply outrageous. So, are we agreed? You'll take this off my hands?
Greetings, traveler. Say, have you met with another elf around here? Heavy armor, sour disposition. I hired her as an escort for my expedition, and unfortunately I cannot start without her. Hardly a surprise, given her demeanor last we spoke. Still, it's hard to get someone to agree to escort you into Ebon Stadmont. From what I heard, the forest appears to shift as you move through it. Makes it a bit tricky to navigate. Well, I found research of an ancient temple, somewhere in this very forest. I've come to study what secrets it may have, but I don't think it wise to go it alone. Say, would you be willing to escort me? I must say, I do pay well. Thank you for accepting my offer. I'm quite excited to be heading my own expedition. Usually I work under Tellinger, the artificer, but sometimes he's a bit much. It's nice to finally be able to break free from being his assistant. Oh no, of course not. The Mages Guild still requires me to accompany him on his expeditions. I've just taken a short sabbatical, is all. As soon as I finish my research here, I'm sure I'll be off on more hair-raising adventures. Well, being Telliger's assistant is informative in many ways, but I think now's the time to prove to the Mages Guild, and to myself, that I can strike out on my own. Ebon Stadmont just happened to catch my interest. The ruins within Ebon Stadmont are ancient, perhaps even built in the Merethic era. They contain inscriptions of a mysterious language, which only a few have begun to translate. I believe these inscriptions can help lead us to the inner temple. It's old, even for a High Elf's perspective. I found translations of only a few phrases, and even those are sparse. An interesting topic for a linguist, perhaps, but for me it's only the means to an end. The temple is all I wish to investigate. As I said before, this forest is tricky to navigate. The pathways twist and shift as you walk through it. That's why the temple hasn't been explored previously. Following these inscriptions should lead us to the temple. Not much. Even though one can see the temple through the trees, the forest has made all research near impossible. It most likely was a place of worship, now abandoned. For some reason, the worshippers wished for the temple to remain inaccessible. The nature of this forest doesn't allow travelers to simply walk to the temple we seek. Someone must have used magic to accomplish this, in order to keep outsiders from entering. Luckily, the inscriptions here should guide us. Oh no, of course not. Well, being Telliger's assistant, a rather enthusiastic and oftentimes impulsive artificer of the Mages Guild. He's generally away on expedition trying to find some artifact or another, and usually I'm there putting my neck on the line when things go wrong. We're looking for inscriptions. Alert me once you see any gibberish carved into stone.
got separated! This way! I'm over here!
Well, seems the rumors are true. Ebon Stadmont truly does twist around you. Perhaps another inscription will help guide us. Aha! Now let's see. That voice again. Para Ekme. Past pathway? Daedra again? Ah, we don't have time for this. I've got it. Follow me. The temple should be just ahead.
Hurrah, Volisto, the past revealed.
There you are. Up the stairs. Take care of that thing before it takes care of us. Thank the stars. I think he's coming too.
Am I really an Aetherius? I didn't know they let your kind in here. We of the House of Reveries have no names, only masks. But you can call me Fletch, because I specialize in the art of the bow, see? Oh, my aching head. How did I end up here? I don't remember a thing. Eben Stadmont... I'm sorry, but I just don't remember. I must have come here with my traveling troupe, though. I wouldn't have left Relanthiel without them. Someone must have ambushed me. A ferocious someone, given my state. Daedra? Mara's elbow, that doesn't sound good. Could you help me find my troop leader, Maestro Forte? I need to warn him. He should be somewhere nearby, I think. Forte! Is that you?
Fletch, what's happened? The whole troop is looking for you.
Grand Maestro Forte? Why, I had no idea you were in Eben Stadmont.
Grand? Oh no, I'm simply Maestro Forte. Hardly worthy of the title Grand yet.
Grand Maestro Forte's here as well? Why, this just gets more curious by the minute. Come.
It appears you've saved Fletch from the brink of death. It brings to mind the story of Temerian, who of course was saved by the Nereids of... Ah, but now is not the time for such tales. Tell me, what has happened? Daedra? I had no idea. Our watch did report some strange creatures prowling about at night, but I've heard of no other attacks. Something must be attracting them here. Did you just come from the temple? The only thing of note I discovered within the temple is a glowing stone in its main chamber. I've yet to translate the stone's inscription, but it may be attracting Daedra to it. I found a similar stone nearby. Can you help me investigate? Excellent. Why don't you and your companion head to the stone? Just follow the path north. I'll escort Fletch to our camp and make sure he's seen to. We'll meet back here afterward and share our findings.
I know this is strange, but let's get to this stone. Perhaps it can answer some questions. The House of Reveries in Ebon Stadmont? Why wouldn't I have heard about that?
Lenka, fall away. Future's door.
Did you hear it too? That woman's voice. At first I thought I was imagining it. Future's Door. A House of Reveries expedition I've never heard of. Grand Maestro Forte rebuffing his proper title. And the temple room where we found Fletch? It looked the same as the room we first entered, but there wasn't a cobweb or broken pew in sight. It means we ventured somewhere we never should have gone. The past. I know it seems far-fetched, but remember that stone we first activated? I thought the inscription referenced an event, but the past was a destination, not an occurrence. That's my theory, and I'd rather not explore further to find out. Affecting the past has far-reaching consequences. It makes me wonder what trouble we've already caused. But this stone's inscription indicates it should send us back to the present. I can't be sure in all honesty, but we have to try. Otherwise we'll be stuck in the past. This stone should lead us back to our natural time. All you need to do is keep that destination clearly in your mind. I'll follow right behind you. It is quite intriguing. Grand Maestro Forte is the head of Somerset's greatest acting troupe, the House of Reveries. But I've also heard tell that he's a great academic as well, though perhaps I'm more familiar with his work than I thought. The research I've been using to help translate the language here came from an expedition that occurred around this time. Perhaps Maestro Forte wrote the very notes that led me here. I'll ask him, but I'd rather not affect the past more than we have. Well, Fletch was very close to death, and I recall seeing bones in our present time, right where I found him injured. Most likely he was supposed to die. I'm almost glad I was so ignorant when I healed him. I don't know what I would have done. As I said earlier, changing the past has far-reaching consequences. For all I know, healing Fletch could have dire consequences to our present. I would have had to weigh his life against the potential impact of that change. Quite a somber thought. I've been hearing this voice since I first started translating these inscriptions. It must be some sort of magic, connected to the inscriptions. Perhaps connected to the language itself, come to think of it. Oh, it is rather odd for a mysterious language to speak to anyone who reads it. The misdirecting nature of Ebon Stadmont must have kept researchers from studying these inscriptions, that's all. Not to mention the local wildlife. I'm not sure what to tell you. I do know that we have to return to our time, and quickly. This mysterious voice, whatever its motivation, is the only thing helping us do that. We have little choice but to follow it now.
Who's there? Lysaxis. It's you. Years and years, and I never could find you. And here you are, back where it all began. Looking as if you haven't aged a day. My friend, what happened to you? So the stone did send you to the future after all. I had feared the worst. That day I tried to follow after you and return to our original time. But the stone's magic faded, and the doorway closed. Try as I might, I couldn't get it open. I was trapped within Ebbenstadmont. For decades, I'd been studying this language and desperately searching for a way out. But my path would always lead me back here. But I did it. I finally found a way to go back, to stop this all from happening. I must stop myself from ever going back in time. I've been wasting my life within this cursed forest. The Southern Stone. That's the key to... Wait, what's that? Is that Fletch? Fletch! Ah!
I'm sorry, dear, but your role has been cut.
The temple. You must go back. Go through the temple. The Southern Stone. Bane away Tendel. Those are the words. Stop this from happening. Take my diary. It will prove everything.
It's time for the grand finale of our little production. And thus the play continues. I'll see you soon.
Such an effort to escape me. I suppose I have what I need.
Well, I suppose it's curtain call. You finally figured it out. Well, Andowan figured it out, didn't she? But hey, you put all the legwork in. And here you are, just in time to stop our leading lady from ever performing her starring role. Ah, but did you kill me? Truly? Not even an accomplished healer could bring me back? And yes, I did take part in Andowan's final scene. Or rather, I will. All a matter of perspective there, you see. But she shouldn't have tried to cut the act short. Andowan was the leading lady of our production. It was up to her to uncover the mysteries of Ebon Stadmont, to find the true potential of its hidden power. But she found a way to escape, and in her last breath told you the way back to the start. Sadly, yes. And so my part must end as well. I put on quite the performance, though, don't you think? The poor, confused soul, the dastardly villain, the mysterious sage. But I think you have a task to do, don't you? A dying wish to fulfill? Yes, our heroine should be just outside, if I remember correctly. After so many times around, though, I tend to lose track. Well, no need to get into all of that. I told you the very first time we met, I'm Fletch. I used to be a mere actor, but now I serve a greater force. I've served her for quite a while now, helping to find the true power of Ebon Stadmont. With Andowan's help, of course. What did Andowan call her? Ah, the Spirit of the Sanctum. An appropriate title as any. She rules over this forest. I think she always has, though I'm not quite sure. She needed the power here, you see. Ebon Stadmont was integral to her plans. Don't bother asking me. Mostly because I have no idea. I would have died had the spirit not saved me. And it wasn't too bad. A supporting role at best. I'd make sure the loop continued, make sure Andowan kept researching again and again. Oh, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I barely understand, and I've lived through it. And it's done now, in any case. You made sure of that. But I think the spirit learned enough. It will have to do. The language here, of course. You see, it's all rather tricky. Only mortals are able to use the language. That's what allowed you to travel through time after all. And Andowan was the perfect candidate to uncover its secrets. Yes, all our heroine needed was the proper motivation. Andowan was trapped within the forest, unable to get out. Then she would hear a whisper, guiding, always guiding. And as Andowan used the language, my mistress would be watching.
You are? How did you get inside without me seeing you? We finally made it to the temple. Oh, I just can't wait to see what secrets are inside. The temple is a trap? What do you mean? A book? Why, this is my handwriting. I've been trapped within this forest for decades now. Trapped within the past. My face is filled with wrinkles. My heart darkened with regrets. My life was stolen from me. Something trying to... My goodness. This is all so hard to wrap my head around. Yes, I agree. You've gone above and beyond protecting me during this expedition. Though the details seem a bit complicated, to think I would have been trapped here, I'd say our contract is concluded. Thank you for all you've done. I suppose I did succeed in this expedition. The notes you've given me are written by my hand after all. Though of course that me won't exist now since you've stopped me and I'm going to stop now. Before my head hurts. I'm sure these notes will give me more details. The best thing to do now is share our findings with the Mages Guild. Let them know how dangerous this forest truly is. As for me, I'll join back up with Tellinger. You know, it may be silly, but I suppose I came here to step out of his shadow. If I could be the one to crack Ebon Stadmont, well, perhaps that would be enough. And then I was trapped in the past to serve a mysterious being. Oh, I would have been. Tellinger is the one who makes brash decisions and puts us all in danger, and I'm the one who helps fix it. Yet as soon as I lead, I find myself in the same position as him. For now, I'd rather clean up his messes rather than make my own. Well, it is a lovely view, once you put aside all the strangeness.
would challenge me to a duel?
Ride of Alinor, cruel fate took away.
What? I've got it.
Jora Oko Ta.
Craft a glyph using a rune of potency, essence, and aspect. Return when you have forged intent into form. You should attach it to an item so you can see the enchantment's effects. You are now certified to fulfill enchanting rites. May you unravel the secrets of Nirn. Your command of the crafts is impressive, but not yet in totality. I am still capable of instructing you. Alchemists are masters of the elixir. They trap magic in a bottle for later use. But I can only certify you in one discipline at a time. If this is agreeable, we can begin your training. As with master chefs, every alchemist must assemble the right components before crafting a special concoction. Are you so capable? We shall see. I require you to locate a solvent and some reagents. Then you shall craft me a potion. Yes, every alchemical mixture requires a solvent, a pure liquid base, and reagents such as herbs and flowers. Now go, find a solvent and some reagents. Once you have what you need, return to me. There's a quiet area nearby with mountain flowers and columbine. A fresh source of water can't be far from them. If you find nothing there, venture into the wilds and seek them for yourself. In the wilderness, you'll find herbs, flowers, and mushrooms all around. These make the best reagents. As for solvents, locate a solvent and some reagents so you may craft a potion. An apprentice of mine tried to use seawater as a solvent. I had him drink the results. He agreed it was a terrible idea after he finished retching. Good. Now go to an alchemy station. Use a solvent and 2 differing reagents to craft a potion. The reagents must possess common traits, or you'll waste all components. You see, alchemy is as simple as pairing like with like. Open your knapsack and place them in your mouth. The first time you consume a reagent, you'll learn its most rudimentary trait. True, some taste quite foul, but it's a small price to pay for the power of alchemy. Potions have far too many benefits to recount. Expect them to have strong effects for short periods of time. Or are you asking how to use them? Open the stopper, place them to your lips, and swallow. Don't pour them on your hair. Lesson learned.
Blend the solvent's purity with the reagent's traits. Return to me when you've crafted a potion. Your potions have a slight fizz to them, but your skill with admixtures is unquestioned. Far better than my former apprentice. You are now authorized to obtain and fulfill alchemy writs. May your elixirs remain potent and your reagents fresh. You show promise in every discipline I certify. Perhaps you seek to challenge my position as thrice-accredited master craftsman. If so, Millenith offers blacksmith, clothier, and woodworking certification. I last saw her at the local Fighters Guild. Certainly. Please specify. Decades ago, before all the trouble, I was a renowned chef in Cyrodiil. I had engaged an exclusive contract to provide the Mages Guild in their travels, providing food and drink that wouldn't spoil when carried through portals. Broiling fish, forging glyphs, or mixing potions, it's all recipes and ingredients. I proved the theory when I joined the ranks of the Mages Guild. Mastered both crafts within 3 years, not that I'm bragging.
Greetings, Deputy. Were you able to complete your assignment? And collected the plans as well. Very good. These will be useful for tracking their movements. As soon as we have the resources, we'll rid Somerset of this filth once and for all. I thank you for your service. Live well and serve, Deputy. The Divine Prosecution never rests. So long as there's malevolent forces set to defile our beloved island.
Looks like someone has sticky fingers.
Let me know if you have some time. I can train and certify you in something else. If you convince me you know how to use a needle and thread, I'll certify you. However, you must commit. I can't certify two things at once. Show me you can craft a pair of homespun gloves. First, you'll collect some raw jute, then return here and refine it. Finally, you'll use refined jute to make the gloves. Of course. It was the first trade I studied. I'm happy to certify anyone familiar with a clothing station. Now run forth and bring me a pile of raw jute. I spotted some raw jute growing on the outskirts of town. You might as well harvest it yourself. Should that not be enough, you'll have to search elsewhere. Search grassy areas in the wilderness for raw jute. You should find enough if you look around. Raw jute is plentiful if you know where to look. Just don't chew on it. It can really do a number on your... well, just don't chew on it. Take the raw jute to a clothing station. If you have enough, you can easily refine it. Bring the refined jute to me when you're done, and then you'll make some homespun gloves. If you're in a guild, check the guild stores. They often have raw materials and refined goods for sale.
Heed me, brothers and sisters. You look at one another and suspect nothing, but in any heart can lurk the taint of Daedric worship. That's right. I'm... I'll match my...
Before you make the gloves, you need to bring raw jute to a clothing station and refine it. When I'm refining jute, I sing to help pass the time. Not too loud. I don't want to disturb the other clothiers. Head to the clothing station and craft a pair of homespun gloves. You shouldn't need much refined jute. Don't forget the style material. You can purchase them from any clothier or scavenge them yourself. Every race has a traditional material they work into their weapons and armor. For example, the Imperial style material is nickel. I should know. Every day in the Legion camps, I worked a pile of it. The Argonian style material is flint. See how you do with that. You can learn how to craft with another race's style material by studying racial motif books. They're quite rare, mostly held by collectors, so watch for them in your travels. craft a pair of homespun gloves. You'll need refined jute and a style material. Clothiers sell those if you can't find any yourself. You know, I'm a master clothier, yet I still own a pair of homespun gloves. They keep my hands warm at night. Sometimes simple is better. Wonderful! Now for deconstruction. There's much to learn from breaking down your own work, even more so with someone else's creation. Head to a clothing station and deconstruct your gloves. Or anything else, really. Just be sure you do it there. What? I've got every right. You're more than capable with needle and thread. I'll be proud to call you my colleague. Already done. You'll now be able to fulfill clothier crafting writs, and I look forward to seeing more of your work. Let me know if you have some time. I can train and certify you in something else. Prove you know your way around a forge and I'll certify you. But you have to commit. I can only train one discipline at a time. I want you to craft a simple iron dagger. First you'll mine some iron ore, then refine the ore into iron ingots. You'll use those ingots to make the dagger. Yes, you have to prove you know your way around a blacksmithing station. Those are the rules. For now, bring me an armload of iron ore. Once you're back, you'll refine them into iron ingots. Bring the iron ore to a blacksmithing station. If you have enough, you can refine them into iron ingots. Really put your back into it. When you have iron ingots, return to me. Go to the blacksmithing station and craft an iron dagger. Nothing fancy. You shouldn't need more than 2 iron ingots. Oh, and you'll need a style material. You can purchase them from any blacksmith, or scavenge them yourself if you're thrifty. Craft an iron dagger. You'll need some iron ingots and a style material. You can buy those from any blacksmith if you can't find them yourself. The trick is the style material, but I'm sure you know that. Next is deconstruction. You learn a lot when you break something into parts, even more so when it's someone else's work. Go deep. I'll match my way. Finest quality merchandise. You certainly know your way around a forge. You're a blacksmith, and let none tell you otherwise. Of course. I'll get you certified right away so you can fulfill blacksmith crafting writs immediately. There's only one more certification I can provide. If you need training, I have time. A good woodworker sees the final product before cutting the first block of wood. But I can't teach two crafts at once. If you commit yourself to the training, I'll certify you. I want to know if you can craft a maple bow. First, go harvest some rough maple. You'll refine it into sanded maple at a woodworking station. Last, absolutely. Bows are challenging to craft. Show me you're up to the challenge and I'll happily certify you. But first, there's a place nearby which should have what you need. Collect an armload and return here. If there's not enough, you'll need to search for more. Look for rough maple in forested areas. Sometimes you'll see logs washed up on beaches. You should avoid cutting a rough maple log with a wasp nest inside. It's rather unpleasant. So are the lotions you'll need for the stings. Bring the rough maple to a woodworking station. As long as you have enough, you can refine it into sanded maple. Return to me when you've done that, and we'll talk about crafting and making.
That's right. I'm...
Bring some rough maple to a woodworking station and refine it into sanded maple. It's easy work. I prefer to work with maple. It's reliable, plentiful, rarely full of wasps. Craft a maple bow at a woodworking station. You'll need sanded maple, also a style material. Scavenge them yourself or buy a style material from a carpenter. Every race has a tradition. Craft a maple bow. Bring some sanded maple to a woodworking station, as well as a style material. Carpenters sell them if you can't find any yourself. A good bow will get you far in life. Making good bows will get you farther. Excellent! Now we can talk about deconstruction.
I'll match my wares against it.
I've seen everything I need to see. You're a fine woodworker with a steady hand. Certainly. You're more than qualified to fulfill woodworking crafting writs. I'll certify you immediately. Truly, I never expected to master 3 crafts. Of course. What do you want to know? I can explain how to craft stronger items with more materials, tell you about the improvement of existing items, or discuss research and traits. You can easily create more powerful weapons, armor, and shields. Simply increase the amount of refined material during an item's creation. Of course, each material has its own limits. At some point, it's just waste. You can greatly improve weapons, armor, and shields with certain rare materials. These materials are unique to each craft. Bring any tempers you find to a blacksmithing station. You can improve the quality of forged weapons or heavy armor. A word of warning, unless you have enough tempers, you can lose your item while improving it. Be sure you know the risks. Some weapons, armor, and shields possess rare traits that distinguish them from others. Every kind of item has its own unique set of traits. Once you research a trait, you will always be able to craft an item of that kind with that particular trait. Bring any item with a trait to the appropriate crafting station and research it. You'll lose the item in the process, but you'll learn the trait. The more traits you already know for an item, the longer new traits take to research. Plan accordingly. You can greatly improve weapons, armor, and shields with certain rare materials. These materials are unique to each craft. If you bring tannins to a clothing station, you can improve the quality of light or medium armor. Be sure you bring enough tannins, or you could lose your item instead of improving it. There's always a risk. Of course. What do you want to know? Fair question. I was an apprentice clothier in the Imperial City, but my old fusspot of a master had no plans to retire. So I joined the 7th Legion's baggage train. Years of mending battle mage armor helped me perfect my craft. Armies need all kinds of weapons and armor. You learn to pick up a few skills along the way. Also, enemies who capture the baggage train are far more likely to ransom an exceptionally talented crafter. 4 times for me. Don't plan on a 5th. Of course. What do you want to know? I can explain how to craft stronger items with more materials, tell you about... You can greatly improve weapons, armor, and... You'll want to bring resins to a woodworking station and use them to improve the quality of a bow, staff, or shield. But without enough resins, you risk losing the item in the process. Taking a chance can be very expensive if you aren't careful.